Letter 148 by Charles Lamb. March 1806. My dear Sarah, no intention of forfeiting my promise, but mere want of time, has prevented me from continuing my journal. You seem pleased with the long, stupid one I sent, and therefore, I shall certainly continue to write at every opportunity. The reason why I have not had any time to spare is because Charles has given himself some holidays after the hard labor of finishing his farce, and therefore, I have had none of the evening leisure I promised myself. Next week he promises to go to work again. I wish he may happen to hit upon some new plan, to his mind, for another farce. When once begun, I do not fear his perseverance, but the holidays he has allowed himself, I fear, will unsettle him. I look forward to next week with the same kind of anxiety I did to the first entrance at the new lodging. We have had, as you know, so many teasing anxieties of late that I have got a kind of habit of foreboding that we shall never be comfortable, and that he will never settle to work, which I know is wrong, and which I will try with all my might to overcome. For certainly, if I could but see things as they really are, our prospects are considerably improved since the memorable day of Mrs. Fenwick's last visit. I have heard nothing of that good lady, or of the Fells, since you left us. We have been visiting a little, to Norris's, to Godwin's, and last night we did not come home from Captain Burney's till 2 o'clock. The Saturday night was changed to Friday, because Rickman could not be there tonight. We had the best tea things, and the litter all cleared away, and everything as handsome as possible, Mrs. Rickman being of the party. Mrs. Rickman is much increased in size since we saw her last, and the alteration in her straight shape wonderfully improves her. Phillips was there, and Charles had a long batch of cribbage with him, and upon the whole we had the most cheerful evening I have known there a long time. Tomorrow we dine at Holcroft's. These things rather fatigue me, but I look for a quiet week next week and hope for better times. We have had Mrs. Brooks and all the Martins, and we have likewise been there, so that I seem to have been in a continual bustle lately. I do not think Charles cares so much for the Martins as he did, which is a fact you will be glad to hear. Though you must not name them when you write, always remember, when I tell you anything about them, not to mention their names in return. We have had a letter from your brother, by the same mail as yours, I suppose. He says he does not mean to return till summer, and that is all he says about himself. His letter being entirely filled with a long story about Lord Nelson, but nothing more than what the newspapers have been full of, such as his last words, and see, why does he tease you with so much good advice? Is it merely to fill up his letters, as he filled ours with Lord Nelson's exploits? Or has any new thing come out against you? Has he discovered Mr. Cursorat's correspondence? I hope you will not write to that news-sending gentleman any more. I promised never more to give my advice, but one may be allowed to hope a little. And I also hope you will have something to tell me soon about Mr. White. Have you seen him yet? I am sorry to hear your mother is not better, but I am in a hoping humor just now, and I cannot help hoping that we shall all see happier days. The bells are just now ringing for the taking of the Cape of Good Hope. I have written to Mrs. Coleridge to tell her that her husband is at Naples. Your brother slightly named his being there, but he did not say that he had heard from him himself. Charles is very busy at the office. He will be kept there today till 7 or 8 o'clock, and he came home very smoky and drinky last night, so that I am afraid a hard day's work will not agree very well with him. Zero, dear, what shall I say next? Why, this I will say next, that I wish you was with me. I have been eating a mutton chop all alone, and I have been just looking in the pint porter pot, which I find quite empty, and yet I am still very dry. If you was with me, we would have a glass of brandy and water, but it is quite impossible to drink brandy and water by oneself. Therefore, I must wait with patience till the kettle boils. I hate to drink tea alone. It is worse than dining alone. We have got a fresh cargo of biscuits from Captain Burney's. I have. March L4. Here I was interrupted, and a long, tedious interval has intervened, during which I have had neither time nor inclination to write a word. The lodging, that pride and pleasure of your heart and mine, is given up, and here he is again, Charles, I mean, as unsettled and as undetermined as ever. When he went to the poor lodging, after the holidays I told you he had taken, he could not endure the solitariness of them, and I had no rest for the sole of my foot till I promised to believe his solemn protestations that he could and would write as well at home as there. Do you believe this? I have no power over Charles. He will do what he will do. But I ought to have some little influence over myself, and therefore I am most manfully resolving to turn over a new leaf with my own mind. Your visit to us, though not a very comfortable one to yourself, has been of great use to me. I set you up in my fancy as a kind of thing that takes an interest in my concerns, and I hear you talking to me and arguing the matter very learnedly when I give way to despondency. You shall hear a good account of me, and the progress I make in altering my fretful temper to a calm and quiet one. It is but being once thoroughly convinced one is wrong, to make one resolve to do so no more. And I know my dismal faces have been almost as great a drawback upon Charles's comfort as his feverish, teasing ways have been upon mine. Our love for each other has been the torment of our lives hitherto. I am most seriously intending to bend the whole force of my mind to counteract this, and I think I see some prospect of success. Of Charles ever bringing any work to pass at home, I am very doubtful, and of the farce succeeding, I have little or no hope. But if I could once get into the way of being cheerful myself, I should see an easy remedy in leaving town and living cheaply, almost wholly alone. But till I do find we really are comfortable alone, and by ourselves, it seems a dangerous experiment. We shall certainly stay where we are till after next Christmas. And in the meantime, as I told you before, all my whole thoughts shall be to change myself into just such a cheerful soul as you would be in a lone house, with no companion but your brother, if you had nothing to vex you, nor no means of wandering after cursorats. Do write soon, though I write all about myself. I am thinking all the while of you, and I am uneasy at the length of time it seems since I heard from you. Your mother and Mr. White is running continually in my head, and this second winter makes me think how cold, damp, and forlorn your solitary house will feel to you. I would your feet were perched up again on our fender. Manning is not yet gone. Mrs. Holcroft is brought to bed. Mrs. Reynolds has been confined at home with illness but is recovering. God bless you. Yours affectionately, M. Lamb. Norris's, Randall Norris, sub-treasurer of the Inner Temple, whose wife, ne faint, came from Woodford, where she had known Lamb's grandmother, Mary Field. Captain Burney's whist parties in Little James Street, Pimlico, were, as a rule, on Saturdays. Later Lamb established a Wednesday party. Of Mrs. Brooks I have no knowledge, nor of him whom Mary Lamb called Mr. Cursorat. The Cape of Good Hope. The Cape of Good Hope, having been taken by the English in 1795 from the Dutch, and restored to them at the Peace of Amiens in 1802, had just been retaken by the English. Mrs. Holcroft is brought to bed. The child was Louisa, afterwards Mrs. Badams, one of Lamb's correspondents late in life.